Hello and welcome to the GLHF YouTube channel. I am your host, the Honourable Dave Breens, with the man himself, as always, Kirk McKean.
Dishonourable Kirk McKean.
Honourable Kirk McKean, as
Dishonourable.
always, as he is known. And today we're talking about Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, the DRDR, which is basically a Dead Rising remake in all but name. Just not by Capcom's modern standards, I suppose.
Yeah, I think what differentiates it is, the Resi remakes, they're completely different games.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they have like a lot of the moments from the originals, they are completely different. With even the camera angle is different. But with
Yeah,
this, the gameplay is basically the same, right? But
yeah,
it just looks like a modern game, as far as
yeah,
I'm aware. Like I
yeah.
haven't played it, you have, so tell me more about that.
Absolutely. Well, it's exactly as you say. It's like the new Resident Evil games feel like reimaginings, almost as if what if this design document was remade in the year 2024
Hmm.
with modern sensibilities, whereas this deluxe remaster, it's in the RE engine as the new Capcom games are. It looks incredible. Like the leather materials look just like Leon's jacket in Resident Evil 4. But then in terms of gameplay, there is an updated control scheme, but it's pretty much identical to what it always has been. This is like a straight port slash remake. I don't want to say port because too much work has gone into it, but
Yeah, I think the thing is the game was never about like tight gameplay controls and stuff anyway. It was
mhm,
about leveling hordes of zombies with different instruments and just having
yeah,
a lot of fun. And a lot of the appeal of it when it launched was obviously it was an Xbox 360 launch game originally, and it had like amazing crowd technology for the time. Even
mhm.
now, like it still looks good compared to what a lot of games are doing. So does that still have the same effect in 2024?
I don't. I'm not playing it and thinking, "Oh my god, this is a PS5 game."
Right. Okay.
Like I'll say that when I play, when I first saw it on 360, I was like, "Oh wow, this is doing more than I've seen games do before. It's more capable." Like
Yeah.
here's the new technology finally. Playing this now, I'm not thinking that, but it does look good. I was thinking like it has like the materials of a modern RE engine game, but in terms of the environments, they've all been upgraded, but it feels like a budget premium game, like a double A budget.
Hmm.
If this were made today, I'd be like, oh yeah, here's a double A budget game. It feels like obviously Capcom hasn't gone into it like, oh yeah, we're putting as much money into this as Monster Hunter Wilds,
Of
uh,
course.
but it still looks very good. It's not a show-stopping PS5 title, but I don't
I
think it ever
mean,
was going to be.
that kind of happened with the series a while ago, anyway, right? Because
Hmm.
the first one was like jaw dropping at the time. The third one was kind of impressive, like graphically at least. That was kind of a tech demo as well. But then after that, it dropped off again.
Yeah.
And three was kind of crap anyway. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. But the first one, I've always loved it, right? Because I think it from like I said, the gameplay is simple, but it's got that time mechanic, right? Where time passes no matter what you're doing. You can spend the game just dressing up and battering zombies and then try and get on the chopper. But it can be a boss rush game, it can be a game about saving people or just doing whatever you want. And that gives it a lot of replayability. Now, I know it turned some people off originally, but ignore them because you can
Hmm.
only save in toilets and stuff, right? Is that
Yeah.
still the case in this remake
Yeah, it is still
remaster?
the case. There is an autosave function, and it kicks
Okay.
in pretty regularly. So I don't think anyone's going to be like too upset if something goes horribly wrong. But like I did have a moment where I was like, oh, I don't know if I have enough time to complete these tasks. So I go back to my last save, and my last save was like 40 minutes before my autosave. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do those 40 minutes again. So those moments do crop up, but it's like I don't feel like it's as common. But the 72 hour time limit I've been really really appreciating. In this preview build, we are not allowed to play the full 72-hour time limit. Uh, but I've been really appreciating the fact that I've got to like micromanage the amount of time I do have. There was at least a couple of moments where I was like, it's over, it's done. I went off to save a survivor instead of doing my main task, and now I'm running out of time. And then I'd get there like within one real time minute, of
Yeah.
like this timer elapsing, and I was like, oh my god, we did it, it's a miracle. Um, so those moments are still totally there, and it feels really good. But then it feels archaic. Like they've said they've updated the NPC AI across the board, like for enemies and your allies that specify you. I guess I believe them because I don't remember the original in detail. But Oi, ooh,
They still die.
getting a survivor through a crowd of zombies when you just run through and they're like stopping at each and every one. It's like, oh no. Multiple times I just like wipe out an entire corridor and I'm like, come on, let's go. Let's Yeah, they don't wanna move.
So there's some outfits and stuff that's new, isn't there? Are you
Yeah,
allowed to
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that stuff?
Yeah, we are. Like they gave me eight the DLC outfits that will be available. I don't know if these are going to be like a premium deluxe edition or purchasable separately or unlockable in game. But they're all like Capcom crossovers, which are really really nice. One of them is like a Leon's RPD outfit. One of them is straight up a liquor, like a Resident Evil liquor,
What the hell?
and like when you stand idle, the tongue is just out of the mouth, like undulating in the air. Um,
Are
there's
you
another
still
one.
a biped?
Yeah,
You,
still a
you,
biped, still running about, just looking horribly disformed, you know.
okay.
And there was a bunch of outfits that were locked. I don't know if I actually can talk about them, but
Let's err on the side of caution. But they're cool
yeah,
crossovers,
there was a
presumably.
yeah. It's all from what I saw and what I recognized. It was mostly Capcom themed, calling back to Resident Evil, Mega Man, more Capcom franchises. I can't remember. I swear there was a Street Fighter one in there. you
Is
know.
there anything else that's new? I know one thing that's been announced is they've taken out some of the like erotica photos because if you don't know, you play as Frank West, who's a
Mhm.
photojournalist and he's a bit of a dick. You know, he's there for the story. He's not really there to save anyone. He's there to snap photos and get some money out of it. And I know it's 2024, but I feel like that stuff kind of fit with the themes of the game anyway. So I wouldn't have been too like bothered if they'd included it still, because he is a creep at the end
I
of the day.
agree.
But I think taking it out again, it doesn't take anything away from the game. So whatever.
Mhm.
Is there anything else like that that's changed, or is
I
it
don't
mostly faithful?
I don't feel like there's been any major changes, honestly. Again, my memory's not like perfect when it comes to the original
Mm.
game. But like I was looking at some of the I was looking at Digital Foundry's video comparing the PS4 port of the original game to the Xbox 360. And like even looking at that and then thinking about my experience with this DRDR Deluxe Remaster, I'm like, yeah, this is like very faithful, just feels like high fidelity, high detail, you know?
You're playing on PC, right?
Yes, I'm playing on PC, yeah.
What kind of graphics options are there? We got ray tracing or anything like that?
I don't think there's ray tracing, but there's pretty much everything else that you'd expect, like from like modern technology. Like there is DLSS, there is I do believe there's DLSS frame generation. I'm not sure about FSR3, but yeah, it looks good. I don't think there's any. I don't believe there's any ray tracing from what I saw, but I remember looking at some of the cutscenes and thinking, oh yeah, Frank's hair looks like the in Resident Evil 4 on PS5. There was like an option for like high end hair that tanked the
Oh, they,
frame
they
rate.
went through a whole like phase of that, didn't they? Like Lara
Yeah,
Croft's hair, tessellated hair, and all that stuff.
yeah. And in RE4 remake, they had like there's an option for high end hair that did like tank the frame rate in cutscenes and stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's in this game. And it
Brilliant.
looks really nice when it's not tanking the frame rate. On my PC, which is relatively high end, it's running really really well, like well above 60 FPS. Even without frame generation. So no complaints. It's an RE engine game. From what I've heard, it should run on Steam Deck, but take that with a grain of salt until you try it for yourself, I guess.
Is there any new weapons or quests or anything like that, or is that all just
Yeah.
the same as the
Again,
original?
I think it's pretty much straight up as was with the original. I think those costumes are probably the biggest additions. I again could be forgetting something from the original, but it seems like it's just very 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 faithful. And it's interesting how like the thing that is new, like the slightly updated control scheme, really does trivialize things. Like okay, so previously when you aimed a gun, you couldn't move.
Yeah,
Now you can move, but you can't move very fast. So does it make a huge difference? I don't know. And there is still like an auto aiming, which is very rough when you're just running along anyway. So you don't actually have to aim. You can just
yeah.
hit the fire button. So and then some of the boss design is it feels very archaic, and I think that might be the thing that's aged most about this because there's like a
The
they're
clown
just
dude.
dudes. They're just
Yeah,
dudes with weapons, and you kind of like circle around them and swing your chainsaw or whatever.
yeah. Make sure you've got loads of food in your inventory.
Yeah, that's right. You carry food items. Always need to stock for food items. Although I keep forgetting to carry them around, and I keep loading up on weapons, which is a curse. But the chainsaw's better than everything else. So,
If I remember rightly, it was like Dead Rising 4 where it like completely jumped the shark on it. Or was it
hmm
2? Because which one was the one with the different character?
it's the two was the one with the different character, but
So
like Dead Rising.
that jumped the shark because that was like a game show thing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and you could like drive around with like rigged out
hmm
uh quad bikes and stuff with chainsaws attached to it.
Yeah, I feel like they had the right idea because like there was still like the you had to get Zombrex for your daughter to keep her from being a zombie,
Yeah,
and I feel like something I don't want to go into loads now, but definitely will close to the game's launch. But I feel like there's a satire of like American consumerist culture.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really really thick in this, and I didn't see it when I was a kid. I definitely see it now. It feels so painfully obvious. Um, yeah, like it's really really thick, and I feel like Dead Rising 2 also does a good job of that. And then Dead Rising 3,
Took
uh,
itself way too seriously.
it was just an open world zombie game. I was looking at some footage of it earlier. I was looking at the first 20 minutes or something, flicking through it. The opening is so dreary, and then like you just drive around the open world and mow down zombies. So and then Dead
Yeah,
Rising 4 overcorrects and goes so goofy, so camp, so many weapons, so much dumb stuff, and it forgets why people actually liked the original game because whereas hitting zombies with crazy weapons is fun, but I just don't think it's the primary part of the game. I do it as something that I do from going from A to B. You know.
yeah. I think the game loses something when it doesn't have the photography aspects as well, because
hmm
that's such a major part of it. Like just getting the wildest shots you can, like
Yeah.
with as much crammed in.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I forgot. I actually completely forgot that that factored into like the experience you got. Like you'd level up from taking photos.
Yeah,
Completely forgot about that. That seems like a silly one. And
yeah. I
here's
mean,
a
the game opens with him you taking photos from a
yes.
helicopter of people
Yep.
getting mauled, right?
Yeah. And consistently with Frank West, he doesn't want to help people. He's just watching and wanting to document atrocities that
Yeah,
take place.
yeah. Well, that's what journalists do in real life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. It's devastating, but yeah, a really fun game, really really interesting, and and you like you say, Frank West isn't a hero. But yeah, one thing I'd love to finish up on is that like this game doesn't have skill trees or anything, and
Mm.
when you level up, it'll just say you got another health chunk, another item space, more. You can run faster now, or you got an extra like an attack to your melee. Just give me new stuff. Don't even make me choose. Give me all the best stuff by leveling up. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, it's just like depending on what you do, depends on what you level up,
I'm not even sure. I just
right?
getting stuff and I'm
He
happy
just
about it.
takes it. He's just
Yeah,
like, yeah, I love it.
yeah. More of that. More of that.
Take
I'm
more photos, Dave. That's all I'm gonna say.
absolutely. Well, that's it. It seems like a really really good game, and excited for the full game to launch on September 19th.
Well, thanks for telling me about it, Dave.
It's my pleasure, Kirk. You know I love these moments between you and me. All right. See ya.
Bye.